Welcome to Anything Goes. I'm your 5-wing 4 host, Madison.
And I am your 9-wing 1 host. That's how you say that. Kaden.
All right, so let's just jump right into it. Oh, we should probably add another disclaimer at the beginning of this one.
Yeah.
So if you didn't watch or listen to our last podcast, you really should. We had been using a resource that we are not going to be using anymore because the person who put out that information has been accused of abuse and like sexual harassment and all that, and we are standing with the victims, so we will no longer be using his resource. You should check out our podcast on that if you want more information. And we're adding disclaimers in the show notes of every podcast. I don't know if I'll be able to add the disclaimer at the beginning of each episode, but we're going to try and do that too. So just look out for that. But yeah, so we will not be using his resource in this episode. So it might cut this episode down just a little bit.
Yeah. Well, we always have our good friend Helen Palmer. I say
yes.
that like we actually know her. She's not our friend.
Yes. Speaking of which, for our other disclaimers, we're not professionals. We haven't been certified. We just read a lot of resources, are up to date in the Enneagram world. Though it took us a little bit to get that information because we had, or at least I had taken a little break from our Twitter and stuff. Other disclaimers, we are not safe for work. So probably shouldn't listen to us without having headphones on. And we're also very LGBT friendly. So all disclaimers out there.
Yep. And not super Christian.
Yeah, we are not Christian.
Spiritual. I've never had a spiritual moment in my life.
I've had spiritual moments, but they weren't Christian spiritual. And I'm not completely convinced that they weren't just, I don't know,
vibing.
Or like, I don't know. We used to do these weird like yoga things for theater, and some of them, like, we tried this one where it was this weird oxygen deprivation, like holding your breath thing to kind of make you high.
No. You're gonna send straight to 6.
But yeah, so I'm not entirely sure it wasn't like a hallucination from lack of oxygen, but we'll leave it at that.
Brave reviews for our state of mind. Email us about your personal hallucinations on a lack of oxygen at EnneathingGoes@gmail.com, or find us on Twitter at the same handle at EnneathingGoes. We have a Discord. I totally forgot that we had a Discord until I was on there the other day. I was like, no one's on our Discord.
I don't think we made that. Did we make it public? We were going to use it to record on, and then it just didn't.
Happened.
Okay, we should try.
Maybe some people want to come in and do a chat. We could have like chats for people's numbers.
Okay, yeah.
Or, like, I'm sure there's already Enneagram chats out there, but
yeah,
we should go on Enneagram Discord. Oh my gosh, Maddie.
We really should. Okay, I will update our Discord tonight. I will look at that, look at making it public and putting chats in. So stay tuned. Like, check out our Twitter if that's going to interest you, because I will post updates there.
To chat with people.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Engage with
also, us. DM us on Twitter, because ain't nobody DMing us. Talk to us. We're
ain't nobody want to slide into those DMs.
No.
Check us out on some other platforms. I know we're on Apple. Are we on Apple?
We're on Apple Podcast, and that's the one where you can leave a review of us. So if you are on Apple Podcast, please do leave a review.
Let us know how we're doing. I'm sure we're doing horribly, but I also am sure that we probably don't care.
Yeah, but it's fine. I will take constructive criticism.
I'll take constructive criticism.
Especially if you tell me how to do something, because I know some of my editing sucks, but I've only had very brief lessons on it. So if you're like, hey, if you do this, it'll be better, and it's something I can do, I will do it. But yeah. Also, if you are listening with ads on Spotify, because we don't control what ads you're listening to on Spotify. Like if you don't have premium Spotify, Apple doesn't have ads at all without any premium membership. So if that interests you, you could probably switch. And I think I'm not sure about ads on any of the other platforms, but if ads
I
are
just
annoying you, huh?
I just bite the bullet and pay for shit.
Mm,
I listen to too many things.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I have free Spotify, so it's not a problem for me. But
Oh
Francesca, we were face chatting, and she told me that she had been like pirating our podcast to listen to it without ads, and then her brother was like, "Don't they like need like ads to show up to help the podcast?" And she was like,
no.
and I was like, "I mean, no, it's fine. Like we're small." But she was like, "It's okay though. I'll start watching it with ads."
Oh, Fran.
So, there are a couple of our podcasts that are missing like a view because she was pirating them. But yeah, if you're in the United States, there's probably a platform that you can
Yeah.
listen to it ad free. Just go to our website, which is buzzsprout.anythinggoes.com.
It's something.
Yeah,
There's
it's on our Twitter. It's on our
somewhere in
Twitter.
the interwebs you can find it.
You
I'm
can
sure.
Google it.
Google. Google is
Google.
your.
It's on our Twitter.
So
Um,
this week,
we've been
um,
going on.
this Maddie and I are tackling sevens. I
Mhm.
have our resident seven,
Mhm.
my partner, in the room. Could you
Mhm.
hear her? She's just gonna
I
keep
could
on
hear.
diving in. She has declined to guest star.
You didn't ask
Mm.
me 5 minutes beforehand.
I never plan anything, dear. You should know this by now. But she has very kindly provided one answer for our question of the week.
Mhm. I
You
also got a 7 to chime
an
in too.
answer, and then so we're gonna sort of hash those out, figure out. Do sevens choose to sample everything at a restaurant, or do a special 5-course meal? Like you go to this really nice fucking restaurant where you sit down and it's really expensive just to get a table or something. You could sample everything, or you could get a handcrafted multiple course meal made by the chef, like designed for your taste buds. I have something that Helen Palmer says about this one.
Mhm.
So she says, there is a definite preference for a little taste of the best adventures rather than making a complete meal of any of them. And she's, of course, doing it metaphorically, but I'm taking it totally literally. And
So
so
you
that
think they would
Helen
rather
Palmer
sample?
has said that that she thinks that they would do the sampler. And I
Mhm.
am totally misquoting her there because she didn't say anything like that, but I'm quote of hers to make that argument. However, my partner has said that she would do the special 5-course meal.
And my coworker, or she's not my coworker anymore because I quit there, but I texted her and she said that she would also do the special 5-course meal.
And I think people just don't understand sevens.
Yeah. What was your girlfriend's reasoning again for wanting the special meal instead of sampling everything?
Liz, do you want to come give us your wisdom?
Well, man, I think it's complicated. Like I said before, if I were like deciding whether to go to like a buffet style restaurant or one with 7-course meals, it would be a lot more difficult of a decision to make. But I think like I'd be sitting there like I don't know which one should I go to, but I think if I were in this situation, just like at the restaurant and they were like buffet or courses, I think I would have to go with courses because I would feel like this is the opportunity that like it's a little bit of fear of missing out almost. Like if I don't take this special opportunity, I'm never going to get it back. Whereas like a buffet, I can do that elsewhere. And so I think if I'm choosing between two different kinds of restaurant, I'm there's always the potential to go back if to choose the other one in the future. But if I'm already in the space, I have to choose I have to choose the 7-course meal because I don't know if or when I will ever get the chance again. So I have to take that moment.
Okay,
so maybe
that's
our premise of the question set it up to be answered in a certain way.
Yeah.
Because we don't understand 7s.
Yeah. I only go there in stress. I visit.
I don't go there at all. I'm stuck in the triangle of death.
Yeah. Yeah, very interesting answer to the question of the month. But yeah. So let's move on to 7 basics. We did our first episode. We basically summarized all of the 9 types. So you should probably go back and listen to that. But we're gonna summarize some of that information and go a little bit deeper right now. So the 7 names for the 7 is the epicure, which you have a
I have a
definition.
little definition here because I had to go look it up, and I'm like, oh, well, no one's going to know what that... Well, no. All of you head types probably know what that is. I don't, okay? But it's a person who takes particular pleasure in fine food and drink, which I thought was, like, weirdly topical for our question, you know? Like, that's good sort of flow.
I will tell you, I didn't know what epicure meant before I started studying the Enneagram, but I looked it up when I delved into 7s.
So yeah. It tracks.
Yeah. So, they are also called the entertainer, the realist, and the enthusiast, which the realist was the specifically the 7-wing 8, and the entertainer was specifically the 7-wing 6.
I feel like they're also kind of just like the jack of all trades person.
Yes, we had that. I think that was we listed that in our first episode too.
Yeah.
So their basic fears and desire. So their basic fear is of being deprived and being in pain. And their basic desire is to be satisfied and content, to have their needs fulfilled. So.
Yeah. Everybody needs a little healthy narcissism, is what Helen Palmer says.
But yeah, so
they go in stress to 1s, so that sort of fear of being deprived leaves them to be self-righteous in the same sort of way that a 1 is. They need to be right, because it's right for them, because it's keeping them from being in pain. And then in growth, they go to 5, come visit you, Maddie, and they get a little bit detached. They can learn that a lot of things aren't really about them. You know, like healthy amount of narcissism. And it really lets them let go a lot of that fear, lets them be satisfied and content, all of that stuff they want to be, because they're less stressed out about the potential of having anything bad ever happen to them.
I also learned a little something about their growth to 5 in the like passions and virtues. So with the head types, 5s are completely cut off from their body and have a little bit of, they're more in touch with their emotions, but still most in touch with their head. And for the 7s, more in touch with their body and cut off from their emotions a lot more.
Ooh, yeah.
And so going to 5 apparently gives them a little more in touch with their emotions.
Yeah, for sure.
So.
For sure. It's like, I will listen to Alyssa describe her memories, specifically about her childhood, or even just like memories about stuff that happened last year. And it's all very much grounded in the body sensation, right? That's like, she will physically describe how it feels to be in that space. And I think that really ties into what their passion, which we can get into.
Do we want to go a little bit into their I mean, I think we did go. I'll just briefly mention their intelligence center, which they are part of the fear and head intelligence center. So that goes in with their like fear of being deprived, that kind of stuff, and they're kind of more in their head, more into planning, that kind of stuff, which we'll get into now with the passions and virtues. Yeah,
Yeah.
or did you?
Which
Okay.
is sure, yeah.
Yeah.
The fear-based type is interesting too because I think depending on their subtype and their wing, they might not actually present as that afraid.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just in the same way
Yeah.
that like um counterphobic sixes don't necessarily present as that afraid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or they can present as a hella afraid. Because well, it depends because they can double
That
down.
yeah.
So like, I know a 7-wing 6 who I'm pretty sure is self-pres, and it's they're very anxious all the time.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's
Yeah.
Alyssa, also a self-pres 7-wing cis, and she's just
Oh, really?
yeah,
That's her subtype too?
that's self-pres sexual.
Ah.
Yeah. So she does really good like one-on-one with people, but it's a little bit draining. And
Mm-hmm.
then you put her in a crowded room with a bunch of people and she's like, "Oh no.
Mm.
Oh no, there's a lot of people."
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm getting a little lot of confirmation.
Yeah. So on to the passions and the virtues. So this was mainly where we were using that one resource that we're not going to use. So this section will be cut down a little bit. But the passions and the virtues, they are a part of many different Enneagram theories. I think they started with the Chazos theory. They mainly focus on religious uh, seven deadly sins, with two being added, which are lies and fear. Um, but you can still look at them in a non-religious aspect, which is how we'll be examining them. Um, it's also why we liked his resource, which we don't like anymore because it kind of diverted from the more religious take. Um, so we'll still be trying to stay away from the religious take while not using his resource. So for sevens, their passion is gluttony. And I have a couple quotes. But
Mm.
so the gluttony of sevens is characterized by a bodily hunger for excitement and experience. Sevens say that they are addicted to their own adrenaline. They love the rush of physical energy, the excitement of adventure, and mental stimulation. That was actually your quote. I'm sorry, I read that one.
You always do the quotes. I just wanted to do like 3 quotes. So I felt like I was kind of pulling my weight this time. So I just really quick hopped on my Palmer Enneagram book and was like, okay, sevens.
Okay. And so then another quote is, I think a variety of options will satisfy me. When I become aware of this passion of gluttony active in me, I can see that I am living in the future, in the world of potentials rather than the here and now, which is where we get into the kind of aspect of like, so your passion is there at all levels, but in as you go down in health, it becomes more of an emotional problem, or and causes more of a problem. So at the lower levels, they can get stuck in the planning of things and not committing to things, and they lose the ability to be in the here and now. But once they're in a healthier, once they move up the levels of health, that becomes less and less of an issue.
Right. And it's
Um,
sort of like if the passions isn't necessarily like a coping tool, it's the coping how, if that makes sense.
mhm.
You know, like
Yeah.
this is how you're going to cope.
Mhm.
Um, and it's a matter of what other tools do you have to make that a healthy coping tool and not a self-destructive, I am, you know, just spiraling coping tool.
Mhm. And then let's see. I think I have one more quote. So, gluttony, which leads to the fixation of planning. The passion of gluttony for a 7 means that they can become obsessed with the need for more food, more fun, more pleasure, more adventure, more money, more life. When a 7 cannot place healthy restrictions on themselves, they find they can never be in the present moment. They can't enjoy what's happening right now because their mind is busy whirling, trying to figure out how the next thing will be even better.
Is that just an unhealthy thing for everyone, though, being not in the moment? Or is that just me as a 9 being like, I vibe with that?
It might be the
So
outlook thing in the triad.
Oh,
everything,
both positive outlook.
Yeah. I think, though, most of what I've read has been, well, no, because 4s, it was more like, stop comparing yourself and just live. But I do think that there is a recurrent theme of not being able to live in the moment. I think it's just what is keeping you from living in the moment. But yeah, being in different triads, I think, does sound similar. We'll have to do that in our triad. We'll have to examine that in our triad
Different
podcast.
triad stuffs.
Yeah, because I do think there is probably a tie-in to that.
They're just not.
Well, no, because 5 and 7,
Well,
5,
okay.
7, 9.
Who's
What
in that
do they?
positive outlook triad, though? It's the 5s, or it's the 7s, it's the 9s, and it's the. Hold on.
But 5s have trouble staying in the moment too.
5s also. That's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of people fucking have problems being in the moment. The moment sucks.
Mm-hmm.
The moment's mediocre.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
The moment is mediocre at best.
But yeah, so we all have a problem staying in the moment, but what is it that keeps us away from the moment is different.
Are you going to the future or are you going to the past?
Mm-hmm. Are you avoiding everything altogether?
Wherever the void.
The void. But yeah,
and twos are the rest of the positive outlook. Okay.
Yeah. 2's a positive outlook, which is that makes sense for my
moment,
2's can be in the moment.
Why not be that?
What can draw them away from the moment is their pride,
right,
pulling them away and making them be like they get into the martyr headspace of the past.
Oh, maybe it's the sort of like 7s are in the future, 2s are in the sort of martyr past, and 9s are just
in the void.
They're just in the void.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that there's like that same sort of way that we talk about the like external facing, internal facing, both external and internal?
There probably is a tie-in there that we should explore. But yeah, let's see. 2's are external facing. They're stuck
7s are
in the
also
past.
external facing.
5s are internal facing, stuck in the future, trying to hoard stuff for the future.
Do you think head types are a lot of the future oriented? Shame types are a lot of the past oriented?
Maybe.
What shame is and how.
Shame functions based on the past.
Hmm.
Like fear functions based on the future, and the body functions based on a disconnection from the present, not in a past future way, just like disconnected from the present.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, well, 1s, their thing was anger, and it's their fixation on what is wrong with the present, isn't it?
Ooh, it's what's wrong with the present and how you deal with it. I mean, 8s also have some of that, though.
Yeah. So maybe the body types is they're only fixating on what is and what's wrong in the present.
I've never been in the moment in my life, though. I don't.
So you avoid the moment because there's something wrong with it?
I guess, yeah.
We should explore this a little bit more with the 8s and 9 episodes.
When we get to the body types, we need to talk about like what. But I feel like that's a breakthrough, though. The idea of like heart types are focused on the past, head types are focused on the future, and body types are focused on the present.
Okay, so this is a chapter for our book.
Yeah.
This is an Enneagram breakthrough
You
that
need to write a chapter. Like, imagine how revolutionary that would be. The people being like, "Oh yeah, actually though, I don't. Maybe people already know this, but I wouldn't know because the Enneagram is a fucking cult." Which I am so mad about. I need open access to information. Okay,
yeah.
information is a fuck capitalism. That's all I can say. We're moving on.
Okay, so their virtue is sobriety. And I read a little article on it that put it more into perspective. Because sobriety, in our modern day um, connotation of it, it usually gets wrapped up with abstinence and like drug sobriety,
Mm-mm.
but it's
Sevens are
actually
not
the
abstaining from anything.
yeah, it's actually the healthy medium between overdoing it and abstinence. Between here's the quote. It's the healthy medium between addiction and abstinence. So you can kind of stop yourself from going too far, and live in a healthy kind of realm, but also it gets you out of that always planning stage, because when you're always planning and you're never really experiencing and living the moment, that's kind of the abstinence stage. So you finally find your healthy medium between
Mm-hmm.
those two and can just be happy with what you have and what you're experiencing. um but yeah,
It's
so it's
good. It's moderation.
mhm
You know what I've been like realizing about my own sort of life now that I'm an adult and
mhm
do real adult things.
mhm
That's a lie. I'm not an adult. I just pretend like I am. But there's like sort of like I think back to high school when
mhm
my teachers were telling us how to mentor like baby freshman 14-year-olds, and they're like, here, we're going to run a bunch of group activities, and you know what you should do, you should cut off at the height of fun. And I was like, okay, I'm kind of buying into this because that's the kind of person I am, but also this is pretty stupid.
mhm
um but actually though, now that I'm older, I really do buy it. The like that like height of fun philosophy, that like as soon as you hit the point where you're like, ah, yes, I'm really feeling this, it's actually a good time to stop soon, because
mm.
then it becomes not fun.
Mission returns, baby.
And like sevens become really, really great at walking that line of like, when is that height of fun?
mhm
They can take
yep
you right up that exponential curve.
mhm but yeah, I have a quote. um A seven who can learn to practice sobriety calms down their need for more. They are able to feel the full spectrum of their emotions and inhabit each moment exactly as it comes. This enables them to bring wisdom, a focused calling, work, and or ideas about the divine order of the universe to the world. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ready to move on to blind spots?
Blind spots.
Okay. These are kind of chunky. These are also quotes that I've pulled. Also, websites are in the show notes, or all of our references are in the show notes, and you can find those on our website. Um, so, first blind spot. The seven is very quick to synthesize and learn new information and skills. They may, however, overestimate the extent to which they have truly mastered and absorbed this knowledge. They may position themselves as an instant expert without having the depth of knowledge that is required for true expertise. This may lead people to question their capability and authenticity.
They're confident,
They're confident, but sometimes
which
overly so. Which,
apparently
oh,
they get missed, like threes and sevens get confused,
mm,
which I didn't really like when I read that I was like, oh, I don't know about that. I usually think threes and eights are similar.
mm. Um, I think you can see this in like uh what's that Gordon Ramsay show with the where he
The Master
goes,
Chef or the Hell's Kitchen, or I
the one where he helps dying restaurants.
oh Kitchen Nightmares.
Yeah, Kitchen Nightmares.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of them are sevens and they think they're doing everything right, and it's very weird because they like ask Gordon Ramsay to come in.
They're in denial.
They're in denial about, yeah. So I
They're like, Obviously, this isn't a me problem, but if you
Yeah.
would come in and fix up my restaurant for me, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah. So that's what I thought of when I read that, because a lot of them are sevens. Um, the seven needs to be active and engaged, and their highly active body language, communication style, and thoughts may be stimulating to them, but can be distracting and frustrating to others. If their style results in fidgeting or pacing, people may not properly pay attention to their ideas. The seven may not be aware to the extent of which this impacts others and group processes. I will I will attest to this because I love sevens, but I can only be around them for a short period of time. A, because if they're unhealthy, they will lead me into disintegration and I will like gladly follow. But another reason is because a lot of them, like, I only have so much mental space, you know? I
And
only
it
have
gets
so
all
much,
taken up by the fidgeting.
well, not necessarily the fidgeting, but their enthusiasm too sometimes. It's like, we could do this, we could do this. And I'm like, yeah, yeah. And then my energy just depletes.
Mm.
um, because it's a lot to take in sometimes. Uh, but yeah, it's okay. Uh, I
Yeah, you
still
want me to
enjoy
read
your
the next ones?
presence. Yeah, sure.
Their active and quick mind may lead sevens to assume that they know what other people are going to say. As a result, they may not listen fully to what people are really saying. Ooh.
Is is that an issue that
No, but
you
I read that and I was like, oh, that tracks. Well, okay, mostly.
What I did,
What did you do?
I just like made probably a constipated looking face because I flashed back to every time I've interrupted anyone because I was finishing their sentences for them because I felt like they weren't going fast enough. And I knew what they were going to say, so it didn't matter. And why am I waiting for you to finish?
I
I bet
think
your
that's one of
dad
the
loves
things
that.
that exhausts me
Oh,
sometimes.
my mom adores that about me. It's a great quality.
It's just really, really bringing together that household unity.
Oh yeah.
Um, yep. It's a they're just not always clued in to that
Sure.
bit. Maybe just be mindful of that, sevens.
I'm working on it.
Sevens may want to feel totally accepting of themselves, but constantly avoid the things that will enable them to feel that way. In rationalizing mistakes, moving towards positive emotions, and seeking excitement, sevens may be keeping themselves from experiencing themselves as whole. That was a lot of themselves in that bullet
Mm-hmm.
point.
I have seen this in unhealthy sevens though.
Where you're like, I'm great.
Um,
I love
it
myself. I know
they
myself
kind
so
of
well.
they kind of dip into the like four type deal where fours like hate themselves but simultaneously think they're better than everyone else.
Yeah.
And so they kind of dip into that a little bit, kind of. It's not this.
That one
It's not
connection.
quite the same. It's not quite the same, but it's like they want to think they're great, but they're not. They realize they have
They
faults, but then they
don't
don't.
really
They
buy
want to
their own
avoid it.
bullshit.
Yeah, they want to avoid it, and so then they never really like address the like I've
Mm.
made this mistake, but I'm still a good person, and so then they
It's
just live with the guilt, but suppress it.
I bet part of it though is the like part of being their version of like correct about things is knowing
Mm-hmm.
themselves. So they do
Yes.
like the surface level work,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Um, but then are so avoidant about issues that they like don't have to go any further. They're
Yeah.
like it's the narcissism comes back a little bit where they're like, oh, I did some surface level work. That's good. I'm an expert now. It's this quick to synthesize. I'm overestimating the extent to which I've truly mastered and absorbed this knowledge.
Last one.
Yep.
Okay.
Sevens may mask fear and unwillingness by expressing and turning into boredom. When they feel terrified about something, they may end up tuning in to the ways in which this opportunity will limit them and avoid facing their fears.
I haven't experienced this a whole lot, but I don't think I've ever been in a situation with a seven where that would come up with me.
By like saying like, oh, I don't want to be limited instead of saying I'm afraid of something.
Yeah.
No, I feel like that hasn't come up with the sevens that I've interacted with.
Maybe it's a more internal thing.
I think it might be a more internal thing.
Because by the time they express it, it might have just been like, oh no,
I've
I don't want to do
decided.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I've decided this is what I want to do now. And I'm thinking specifically about like, I have a cousin who was living on the West Coast, like where we're sort of from, and then went to New York, where we're also sort of from. It's complicated. Anyways, so he moved out to New York and then had moved back for a little bit, but then also is apparently moving back to New York now. Um, and I wonder
Oh,
if the
I know
like,
this cousin, yes?
yes, no,
Okay.
you met him when we were
Yeah,
there.
I know, yeah.
You,
So he did move back and now he's moving back again?
yeah, he moved back
Okay.
to the Pacific Northwest for a few months and now is moving back to New York again. Um, but I wonder if the like uh, I didn't ever really talk to him before he moved, but I'm wondering if like it's possible that a way that this could manifest would be, say, for example, in his situation, he says, well, I'm just kind of like I'm getting bored of New York, you know, instead
Mm-hmm.
of saying like actually though living in a huge mega city in the middle of a pandemic is horrible.
Yeah. Okay. So possible. Sevens chime in. Is this something you do? How do
Do
you
you
feel?
realize that you're doing it, or do you just do it?
Did we call you out? Did you just have a realization moment? Let us know. All right, so seven strengths. They are optimistic. The seven focuses on what brings joy, happiness, and pleasure to life, enables them to exude optimism. Aren't they part of the? I know we just went over this, but they're part
They're
of
the
the
good vibes triad.
Yeah, the positive
Positive
outlook.
vibes only. Positive outlook.
Mhm. Yeah. So, guys, stay positive.
Yeah. Very, very positive. Also very flexible
Mhm.
in the mental sense. As sevens are attuned to possess and like to keep their options open, they will be adaptable in the face of change, setbacks, and challenges. They've already, their whole life, they've been prepping for fucking like, option A isn't available. It's okay. I've got 5 other backup plans, and I'm just going to be just as happy with those.
Future oriented. By focusing on what is next, the seven's enthusiastic and visionary qualities enable them to both participate and create an exciting future. So you're
They're,
future and goal like oriented and you can achieve that future.
they're future forward and
Mhm.
practical. At their best, sevens combine their ideas with practical and productive focus that enables them to make things happen.
Mhm.
There are Captain Happens. Has anyone else taken an intro to creative writing class that they only mildly enjoyed?
They are adventurous. As a playful, versatile, and spontaneous person, sevens savor their freedom and like to explore new territories and experiences.
Is there a
I
reason? Is that why you put that one at the end so that we would lead
yeah,
right into the sex
I
positions?
I actually just put them in the order that they came in, but also I want to discuss one that didn't appear here, but I hear it a lot in like podcasts that I listen to, and it's apparently something that as a 5, like as I grow, I'll be able to take it from the sevens, and instead of using it in like unhealth, I'm supposed to be able to grow and use it like as a coping tool whenever and like healthily. And it's that sevens can compartmentalize very easily, and they can like separate things, keep things compartmentalized, and like um be like, okay, this matters now, this, and that
They
as a
drop their ego
yeah.
when they go to 5.
Mhm. And so I don't know, I'm supposed to be able to do that in health, but like once I like grow, I'll be able to use it more. I don't know. I'm still figuring it out.
Yeah, aren't we all?
hmm Fun stuff. So we have been reading, or we've been discussing this article by Elite Daily that says that they've chosen the best sex moves for each Enneagram type. Also, since then, this month on August 22nd, Every Girl came out with a similar article. So we might discuss that a little bit, but we hadn't discussed them in the previous episodes just because it just came out. But the Elite Daily article says that the best sex position for a 7 is to 69. Type 7s are the first to dance at a party. They're super excited about life and love to get in the middle of anything thrilling. Their ideal sex move is 69ing because it can give them a chance to give and receive simultaneously. They also find multitasking to be hot. Alright, that's just really funny.
Yeah.
I would say yeah. I think it fits. I can't really think of anything better. And so the Every Girl article says that it's the corkscrew position, but I can't really see why that would be a better position.
All right, I'm googling.
Corkscrew?
Yeah.
Corkscrew is when the partner that's doing the penetrating is standing up besides the person, and that person is laying like down, like on their back. It's actually a very good position. It's fun.
Their diagram picture of this is very confusing to me.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to find another article.
In the picture, it's like your back usually isn't as flat. You're a little more curved to allow for penetration. You can also face the partner instead of having your back to them, which a lot of the depictions of it I've seen have the one person facing away. But I think I don't like the Every Girl article very much. Just because I don't know, some of the positions that they have listed just don't. I don't know. I think they have the same problems as Elite Daily, which is it's very vanilla and very heterosexual. And Every Girl has the same problem, except it's a little bit worse. Because like their position for 5s was cowboy, which is where the penetrating partner is also straddling the partner that's getting penetrated. And I don't know how well that would work.
Why?
I don't know if it'll actually be able to go in.
Why would
Like
that be
it would be
any better?
It would be at a weird angle too. They said that the benefit of it is that it provides great G-spot stimulation, but I don't even know if it will be able to get in. In that case, no G-spot stimulation. You know? So I don't
Yeah,
know.
it just seems weird.
Yeah, I don't know if I like the Every Girl article. I think I like it a little bit less because at least I don't know. I feel like 69ing is good for 7s, especially since I don't know. You can 69 for like a long time. You can do different things with your tongue. I don't know. Seems like a little bit more. There's a lot more options with the 69ing. Also, like I don't know. You can do it like on your side a little bit. You know, a little bit of mixing it up. Yeah, some versatility. Oral's always nice.
And something decidedly unsexy.
Dog. So, I have a list that I've come up with of what Enneagram type each dog or which. Oh, I lost it.
Okay, here we go.
What dog each Enneagram type is? There we go. I got there.
English eventually. Has weird subject-object placement.
Yes. But yeah, so I said that type 7s are golden retrievers or huskies. And the reason being is because golden retrievers and huskies, you have to exercise them so much. Like so much more than pretty much any other pet. Like in order to keep them like happy and like from completely demolishing your house. Because like I don't know, they're built to be out there. Like I mean, huskies are built to like pull like race sleds and be out like racing in the elements, and golden retrievers are meant to be like hunting and like like catching wild ducks that you've shot. Like they're very much working animals
They're high
and
energy.
not, yeah, they're high energy working animals as opposed to something like just a sheepdog, which is just pretty much supposed to like sit out in a field and guard the hens and stuff. They're a lot more high energy. And so they have to be stimulated and they have to be exercised a lot, or they will just tear everything up and not be happy. Which is very seven. Seven's need for stimulation and such. Yeah?
Yep.
Okay. Memes!
So we
So,
each brought a meme to the party here. My meme is handpicked from my most recent text interaction with our resident 7. It's I haven't seen this meme format before, but it's like a bunch of different books. It's 3 different books. One is pretty much just the covers. One is a little bit thicker, and one is really thick. And the one that's super thin is stuff I intend to share. The one that's like kind of a little bit thick is the stuff I share when people ask. And then the one that's super duper big is the stuff you unlock when you stand too close to me and pay me attention.
yep. I feel that in my disintegration. So,
It must be true.
yeah. My meme is it's the 2 buttons and the guy's like wiping his forehead to like choose between the 2. Um, and it's just like exciting thing versus this other exciting thing. So, which do you choose?
Anything versus anything.
Yeah. All right. So, ready to wrap up?
Yep.
All right.
Next week we're doing 8s. Next month. Why do I still think that they're weeks? Months
I
kind of
think
feel
it's
like
because
weeks.
when we first started talking about this, we were intending to eventually work up to doing like
Things.
bi-weekly, and we just haven't gotten there because life just keeps happening.
2020 just keeps happening. When is it gonna stop?
Ah, I need a
God,
new job.
I need the court to finish changing my name.
Oh,
It's
they still
been two
haven't?
weeks. It's been 2 weeks since the judge was like, yeah, sounds good, bruh. And I was like, okay, cool. And they were like, this is gonna be like 3 to 4 days. And then it's been 2 weeks, and I still can't get certified documents, which means that like I fucking need a new like driver's license and passport and social security card, and I need to re-register to vote.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh
It's gonna be
no.
rough.
Yeah.
It's gonna take forever.
Oh, and you need to register to vote fast.
Yeah.
You do not have much time.
Well, actually, I'm sure I'm from Minnesota, so we do have same day registration.
Oh, you do?
Yes. We
Oh,
have
okay.
good, well, not super good. I'm from Seattle, and in Seattle everyone does mail-in voting. The first time I
Oh.
went to a election like an actual physical location was when I moved here.
Mm.
I had never gone in person. I'd always just voted by mail. And I was like, doesn't everyone just vote by mail?
Yeah. No.
No. No.
West Virginia registration date is coming up. Like your deadline to register is
Yeah.
very, very soon. Like
I
it's
just need like mail. If I can prove that I live here with
yeah.
like a driver's license or mail, then they'll let me
Vote.
register same day.
Nice. Oh, we should do that everywhere. But
Right?
alas.
Yeah. Come on. Also, give felons the right to vote, okay?
Yes,
They don't stop being people.
they do not. And policies affect them probably in some ways even more than some of
Right.
us out. Like the prison industrial complex is very, yeah. But we digressed again. So,
We did digress.
so
But
our
for
question of the
eights,
Our question of the month is for 8s. If you were a ruler, would you want to be loved or feared? Yeah.
Send
So
us your answers.
at our
I'll ask the 8 in my life.
yeah,
I'll ask.
okay.
I think I have 2 8s in my life. My aunt's an 8 too.
I have. I'm trying to think. I worked with a couple of 8s. I guess I could text them. Um, don't really have a lot of 8s in my life.
8s kind of intimidate me.
I think 8s tend to piss me off.
I
They
just
end up triggering me to go to 8, and it just becomes just
that it does work with my theory though that we just hate the number that we integrate to.
yeah.
Just absolutely hate them.
Oh, I don't hate them. It just things get tense. Yeah. I
Yeah.
actually had a fairly good working relationship with the 8s that I worked with. I would just like at my most recent place, 2 of them were my bosses, and I know for a fact that I told one of them to straight up fuck off, because then they later apologized. And I'm pretty sure I told the other 8 to fuck off multiple times.
Mm.
But yeah,
My like one of my bosses at my old job before he like switched positions was an 8, and
mhm,
holy shit, that was an intense fucking work environment. And
mhm,
mainly because it was customer service, and also my first week was the same week that the police murdered George Floyd and the city started burning, and they were still like coming to work.
mm,
Um, and I just like my first interaction with him was people being like, "Hey, you know, this guy just got murdered, and now the city's on fire, and maybe we should just close the store because the city's on fire." And they were like, "Well, you can fucking leave then. If you want to leave, leave and don't come back." And the people were like, "What the fuck, man? What the fuck?" And he was just very, very angrily like working in the corner. And I was just like, oh my gosh, if he talks to me, I'm gonna quit my job and cry. Or both at the same time. It was
Anyone have
very high
any 8
stress.
bosses experience?
Oh,
Like, send us that.
yes. Because
Yes,
I feel like
email.
it make really great bosses,
Mm-hmm.
but also being around an 8 in stress is like fight or flight mode for me.
Mm. See, I'm okay with 8s in stress because they go to 5 and they just get really quiet and they can simmer and I can ignore that.
Ooh, that's high tension for me.
No, I just ignore it. Like,
Uh-uh.
I'm like, I see you're stressed over there and being quiet. Finally, you're being quiet. like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm
One of
I'm
my best
okay.
friends is an 8. We just did sports together. We were
Mhm.
roommates. They're very, very chill. I
Mhm.
think it's that 9 wing.
Mhm. Also, 8s when they are in better health and can access that 2 more.
Mm,
Mhm.
they're so sweet.
Yeah, they become very sweet and very protective and very good. But yeah. So they do make good bosses. Just
Hmm.
like everyone else, you gotta grow personally.
Mm.
But yeah,
Let us
so
know.
email
Email or
us.
Twitter.
Which the email again is EnneathingGoes@gmail.com. Same way it's spelled, wherever you're accessing it. And then our Twitter is @EnneathingGoes. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or tweet at us and follow us. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.